In the year 2024, there were three key tournaments for the Indian cricket team fan. Of those three tournaments, one is presently underway in the IPL. The other one is the T20 World Cup, which starts on the 1st of June, immediately after the IPL ends. But the third key tournament that the Indian cricket fan had their intrigue towards was the Border-Gavaskar trophy. The Border-Gavaskar trophy, which has been with the Indian team for the last three times that the series has been played. Well, the schedule for the BGT, which will now be starting towards the fag end of the year, is now fully out. Yes, we've been doing reports of what the first venue could be, what the last venue could be, when is it that you're looking at the test to begin. Those dates had not been outlined as yet, but now we've got a full confirmation from Cricket Australia. The confirmation now telling, yes, it's a 5-match series, as has been known this whole while. Now remember, it's a 5-match test series after a long time. The last time you saw the two nations in a 5-match test series, well, it was back in the year 1991, 1992. In fact, it wasn't a tour for India to remember, because you lost that particular tour 4-1. The only couple of good things that you saw from an Indian perspective on that tour was a Ravi Shastri double ton, which came in Sydney, if memory serves me right, and then you saw a fiery knock from Sachin Tendulkar as well on that particular tour. But besides that, there was not much for India to cherish in that particular tour. But cut to 2024, now things have changed, Indian cricket has changed, and now you're all excited and looking forward to whether or not India can be the first ever nation, forget being an Indian nation, to go ahead and win 3 test series in Australia back to back. Remember, 2018-19 you won, then you again won in 2020-21, and now in 24 obviously the series gets taken into or carried forward into 25 as well. Can the Indian team make it a hat trick of wins in Australia as far as test cricket is concerned? Let's, without wasting further time, tell you what is it that the schedule for this 5-match Border-Gavaskar trophy gonna look like, and where is it that you're going to be seeing the first test match take place. The first test match you're going to be seeing take place from the 22nd of November to the 26th of November, so the fag end of November. That's when all the action begins, and you start from the Optus Stadium in Perth. That's going to be hosting the first test match. Over from Perth, then you move to Adelaide, and this is where the pink ball test match will take place. It happened the last time around as well, 36 all out, as Indian cricket fans would like to forget what had happened the last time around. But this time also you see the pink ball test match will be the second test match, and yet again will be played in Adelaide. That's going to be your day-night test match, and the Indians, particularly let's say Virat Kohli, he loves playing at the venue. We know that for a fact. He's got multiple centuries across formats, in fact, over there. Totally loves playing at the Adelaide Oval. So can India then go ahead and undo what had happened, let's say, the last time around in Adelaide? We'll have to wait and see. So Adelaide will be hosting the second test match, also will be the pink ball test match. Over then to Brisbane at the Gabba is when the third test match will take place, from the 14th to the 18th of December. That's not all though. In this year you will have one more test match, because the New Year's test match, as we know, will be played in Sydney, and of course the fourth test match then means will be played then at the Melbourne Cricket Ground, and that'll be the Boxing Day test match. The fifth test match, the last of the lot, will be from the 3rd of January to the 7th of January, and that'll be the New Year test match, which will be played in Sydney. But not a lot of turnaround. If you were to just quickly look at it, 26th is when it ends. This is where the teams get some sort of break between the first and the second test match. Remember, you've seen bigger breaks in, let's say, the India-England test series that you saw. It in fact did pan out for about 2 months, that particular test series, but not quite the case over here. It starts in November and you done with it in, let's say, about a little over a month's time. So that's all the time that the Indian team will be spending. So there's going to be a bit of a gap between the first and the second test. Not a lot of gap, in fact, just a couple of days. If you see that the Indian team will have to then make its way from Adelaide to Brisbane, and the 14th you start off with the Brisbane test match, which will take place from the 14th of December. That's the third test match, after which then As I said, again, not a big turnaround if you see. In fact, there is a turnaround over here. So between the first and second test, yes, there is some sort of a gap. The second and the third, not that much, but third and the fourth, yes, that's where I think that's the longest gap, in fact, that you see between two test matches. And again, not a lot of turnaround time between the fourth and the fifth test match as well, as far as the Border-Gavaskar trophy is concerned. Exciting times ahead, and it'll be interesting to see how this Australian side comes ahead and faces this Indian side and hosts this Indian side this time around. They've had their backs against the wall over the last three tours now, over the last three encounters, I should say, given what had happened here in India ahead of the WTC final also. So everything put together, exciting times ahead for Indian cricket too, not just because it's a 5-match test series, but also because your biggest match winner in the previous two tours, Rishabh Pant, will he then be able to make his way into the Indian team? He's presently playing in the IPL, but exciting times ahead. What will be the look of the Indian team? All of those things will get unraveled with time as we proceed towards the series, which starts in the month of November later this year. But for now, that's the schedule that's been shared by Cricket Australia. Also remember, must I also say in the same breath, while the Indian team will be there, the women's team will also be in Australia, and there will be a 3-match ODI series which will also be taking place between the two respective women's teams of India and Australia. So exciting times ahead down under for both the Indian women's and the men's team, and we'll have to wait and see if the Indian team can go ahead and indeed scrape history in Australia for the third successive time.